What that do say? Me a chick, I got a chick. Yeah, I done got me a chick, I got a chick. Sheesh.
Alright, so what is up, guys? It's your boy RaptureFX or Chris here, come back with another fantastic video for you guys today. And I really need to make myself an intro. Not like the intro that you guys just saw with my name on it and stuff like that, but like a new intro to videos. Just terrible, hate it. But other than that, guys, I'm just gonna be talking about the worst teacher I've ever had, dude. This guy was terrible. I've heard some pretty bad stories about teachers from like other friends of mine and stuff like that. But by far, I think this teacher was the worst out of all of them. This guy was just ruthless. So, before I get too far ahead of myself, I'm actually gonna get into this. So, basically, it was just myself. If you didn't know, my name's Chris. If you didn't listen to the intro at all, but my name's Chris. Yeah. So, I was in 6th grade, I believe, and I used to go to I don't want to say a ghetto school, but it was kind of bad where I used to live. It was just like a rundown place. If you know what I'm talking about, its name is Hemet. It's in California. If you know where that is, you know what I'm talking about. There's just like a lot of gangs in there, and just a really bad place. All run down. There's a lot of druggies. It's just really bad. But I don't want to say it's a ghetto because I might like offend somebody or something in the comments. But I used to go to the school called Diamond Valley Middle School. And it was in this city called Hemet, and it was kind of a nice school, but like the teachers and the kids were just like terrible. Like I don't understand how some of the teachers got hired, like this math teacher. I'm not gonna give the math teacher's name, so we're just gonna call him Joe. We're gonna call him Mr. Joe for the video. So basically Mr. Joe was just like an older guy. I think he was like in his mid 40s, maybe early 40s. Somewhere around there, I don't know exactly. But this guy, he just kind of had like some anger issues. I didn't know what was really up with him, but he was just kind of angry all the time. And he didn't really take it out on us until like later in the year, but you could tell that he was angry at something. So, after being in his class for a little bit, he started to develop like hatred towards me. I never really did anything in his class. Like back then, I was really quiet. And I usually just sat like in the back and I just did my work and like went home, played games, went to school and just like did everything. Didn't really talk except for like lunch because, I was kind of shy. I didn't really talk to people. But nowadays that's really different. Now I just talk and I get in trouble in class for it or sleep or something. But back then I wasn't a talker at all. So I have no idea why this teacher had a problem with me. I would do his work. I did everything he wanted, but he just didn't like me for some reason. I guess there's something about me that he didn't like, but I never found out what it was. So eventually throughout the year, I think it was, because in middle school, instead of I forget what they're called, but in high school, you only have like 2 semesters instead of trimesters in middle school where there's like 4 sections, but in high school it's only 2. So I think we were done with the second trimester, so we were in the second semester of middle school. We were in the second half. So this guy started to get like a little bit more like angry at his students, stuff like that, because he had a weird last name. This is where like all started, when he started to get really mad at everybody. But he had a weird last name, and basically we would, like, not me, but like some of the kids would write stuff on his wall that related to his name. Like it would rhyme with his name, and it was like kind of bad stuff, and he took offense to it. So they would write it on his wall with like spray paint or marker or something, and they would just make fun of him for it. So he kind of got irritated at that, and he started to get more angry towards everybody, and especially me. He'd always like pick on me in front of the class, which is one reason why I quit that school. But eventually got to the point where this guy would, he started assigning more homework, just doing that sort of stuff, just assigning more homework and like kind of losing his temper a little bit faster, like by the days went on. So eventually he got to the point where he started getting physical, but by physical, I don't mean him coming up and like hitting a student or putting his hands on a student. I mean like to the point where he would come over to my desk, like he did this a lot to me, especially. He'd come over to my desk, and if he didn't like the way I was sitting, he would like take my desk and he would just like kick it. He would just kick my desk across the room Like, it wouldn't flip over or anything, but he would just keep kicking it repetitively and make it move. And then he would take my seat and just drag me. So it was kind of irritating, you know. I was like, dude, why are you doing this? I was really confused on why he didn't just ask me to move. He would just come over without warning and just start kicking my desk and like dragging my seat. It's kind of irritating, but you know, I kind of just got used to it. I just kind of let him do what he wanted because you know I was kind of shy back then. Didn't really do anything about it. Of course, I told my parents they couldn't do anything, so I just kept going to his class and stuff like that. I couldn't switch out or anything, or switch out of that school. You know, paperwork had to be filled out and processed. So I still had to go to his class, and he started to get even more physical than that. Like, instead of kicking my desk, he would still do it, but not as often. He would take rags if he thought I wasn't paying attention, or if I got a question wrong. Like, if he would ask me, like, we were doing like tree, like the tree factoring, which is like you start off with like 24 and you go to like 12, 2, and then 12 is like 4 and 3, and 4 is like 2, 2. And you like circle the last ones and like put them into like a ratio or something like that. I can't remember, but it was tree factoring, and if I got it wrong or something like that, he would throw a rag at me. And I'm not gonna say like, oh, it's just a rag, it didn't hurt. It was like the principle. I mean, like they kind of hurt. Like they were like rags from like using marker and stuff like that, so they kind of got like crusty and like hard and stuff like that. And he would chuck them at me like he was like a professional baseball player. He would just throw them at me and like nail me right in the face. And you know, this went on. Told my parents, and like they had enough of it, and so they went in there, talked to the principal and stuff like that. They couldn't really do anything then. They just kind of wrote up the teacher, and like he stopped doing that. But he would still kick my desk, but he didn't throw rags at me after that. But I continued to go to his class, and it got to the point where like, because I always did the homework for his class, but this one time I forgot my assignment. And I didn't, like, I did the homework, but I just forgot it at my house. So he was going to give me a 0, and I said, I don't need the 0, you know, like, I don't want to fail your class. Because, like, his grading system was really weird. So, like, if you missed, like, one assignment, it would, like, drop you a letter grade or something like that. I don't know how it worked. But like I didn't want to like miss an assignment because he would just get really pissy at me for it. So I just said if I could call my my dad, and see if he could drop it off for me. So he said okay. So I go up to the front of the class, and you know there's always the class phone, and you got to dial out and stuff like that. But this guy had a weird phone. All right, I can explain it, but I don't know what the name of it is. So I'll put a picture of it on screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But I'm gonna try and explain it to the best of my abilities right now. So basically, this guy had like an older phone where there's holes on the dials, and it's basically for every like different hole there's like 9 holes, and or there's 10 holes, I can't remember, but there's a bunch of holes, and each hole represents a different number, and basically you put your finger in the top hole, and like you turn that hole to the number that you want, and then you let go and you turn it to the next number, and you did that for the full number. So I didn't know how to work that phone at the time, but now I do. But back then I had no idea how to work this phone, and I was so confused, and he got so mad at me for it. He like wrote me up for detention and stuff like that for it. He just went off on me. So I asked him if I could just use my phone. At the time I had like an HTC like touchscreen. It was like, you know, all of that. All of my friends were like, "Wow, man, you got that phone?" And by friends, I mean like one friend that I knew in like elementary school. So that was kind of nice of him that he let me use my phone to call my dad. But in my case, my dad didn't pick up. I went outside, tried to call him, he didn't answer. I went back inside, and I said he didn't answer. So he went on with lecture and said I would get a 0 if he didn't bring it. So in the middle of lecture, my dad decides to call me, and my phone goes off, and it disturbs the entire class. And the teacher got really, really mad at this dude. He came over and started kicking my desk and like taking the rag, slamming it on my desk and stuff like that, and like yelling at me. He was pissed, dude. He was furious. So after me like getting chewed out for it, like I answer my phone. He says, "You better make it quick." And I pick up my phone and I say, "What's up, Dad?" And my teacher takes my phone from me and starts talking to my dad. And I don't know what my dad said to this guy, but afterwards, while he was talking to my dad on the phone, he looked like he was gonna cry. He like legit looked like he wanted to just sit down on the floor and just cry. It was the funniest face I've ever seen that teacher make. So after my teacher getting yelled at on the phone by my dad, he didn't have a problem with me after that. Well, I can't say that. He would still like kick my desk around and stuff like that, but he never like got furious at me like that again. He never yelled at me again. He just come over and occasionally like kick my desk or like smack my binder off my desk because of that. But eventually, you know, the teacher got fired, and I went over to the other school called Acacia. It's like another school inside the district. So I went to that school, and we asked the principal at that school if they knew this teacher, and they said, yeah, he used to work at that school as a math teacher, but they fired him because of how he like treated the students and stuff like that. So we were like, wow, so this teacher is like a bad teacher. So my parents were like, they were shocked that this guy was like, he had an attitude like this. So he wasn't like this just because of me. He was like this for a while, I guess. It was just crazy to think about that a teacher could be that mean to kids and stuff like that and be a teacher. But, you know, other than that, I didn't really stay at Diamond Valley. I went to Acacia, went there, finished 6th grade. And I just kind of finished middle school there. So that was kind of a fun place to be. It was a really nice school. I'm glad that I switched to there. But other than that, I never saw that teacher again. And I'm thankful for that. So if that teacher's watching this, you won't know who I am. But if you are watching this, go kill yourself, dude. I swear to God, I hate you. If I ever saw that guy in public, dude, I would probably just like hit him or throw something at him. Oh my God, dude. Now that I think of it, dude, I would hate that guy, dude. I would just hit him in public repetitively for what he did to me in that class, dude. Like, some of the times he actually hurt me with those rags. I went home with, like, black eyes. But on a serious note, I never went home with black eyes. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please drop a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and comment down on any of your crazy stories with bad teachers or anything like that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.
Tell me how you feel, what's your fantasy, yo? I see it's on the beach down in Mexico. You can put your feet up, be my senorita. We ain't gotta rush, just take it slow. You'll be in the highlight, soaking up the sunlight. Anything you want, it's yours. I have you living life like you should. You say you never had it so good. So good, only better. This is more sincere than the bottom of the letter I wrote ya. Before I hit the road, sometimes you